viewers. And hey, everyone coming in. If you have questions for Antonio, please put it in the comments. If I don't see it, just send it again, y'all. Please. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Love the setup. Dope.
Oh, thank you. You know, this is my patio. I got my Christmas lights. I had to recycle it up.
yeah. Lit. I
try to have a party out here. I got my music going.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how you doing this evening?
I am doing well. It is Sunday, you know. Tomorrow's Monday. Getting ready for the week. Just vibing, you know, doing my weekly preparing for the week and things like that, and preparing my new like my content, all aspects of things like that before the week gets going.
Monday comes so fast.
So quick, you know what I'm saying? These 2 days go out like that. Like, damn.
Too much. I thought, was the time supposed to change this weekend, or is that next weekend?
Oh, I hope it's not. It is coming up though. It is fall, right? So would we fall back or we fall? I be forgetting.
I think we fall back, which I still don't know what that means. Hey, Cece girl.
Hey everybody.
Hey everybody coming in. If you're just coming in, I have Antonio here, aka Tierra, from the Circle Season 7. So put some questions down. Please. November 3rd. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. I'm late.
November 3rd. Okay, so that's next weekend.
Yeah, we'll know when the clocks don't seem right.
Right. It's coming. It's close. It's too close.
Yes, it's already dark so early.
Right. So that means it's gonna go back.
That's the one thing I don't like. I like when the sun is still out to 8 o'clock.
Because you still got to feel like you get your day. But the good thing about going back is you get to gain, I guess, an hour of sleep, right?
That's true. But I'm a parent, so nothing changes.
I feel you. I'm a night owl. Usually when that happens, I'm up like, what just happened? So
yeah,
it is.
I remember when I was in my younger days being out and the time would change in the club, and it would make no difference.
Hey. I know that's right.
All right, so I'll get started. Antonio, again, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So, did you watch The Circle before you got on the show?
Absolutely. I was a big Circle fan. Tierra had put me on, so I had watched seasons 1 through 5. I think out of all my favorite seasons, it's still season 1, just because, you know, they started it all. And I love each player and how they played the game. And I'm a fan of strategy, like strategy shows and competition shows. So I love how the first season isn't all of that, because they're all trying to figure out like what the game The Circle is, right?
Exactly, yeah.
You get to see them figure it out in front of us, and I love that aspect. And then of course I love how each season the game changes and there's a new twist involved. So I definitely watched it before being casted. Mm-hmm.
And what was your biggest surprise between being a watcher and then being on the show? What was the biggest shock to you?
The biggest shock to me were the lights. It is bright as hell in there. Like, you would be sleeping, and I'm a deep sleeper. So when they advise you, the lights will come on, I'm like, I'm not going to wake up. I'm over here.
Oh, they would turn the lights on for you.
Yes, the lights were so bright, but also the cameras. Like, so I was expecting like there to be like camera people there and camera crew there, just because I felt like that's how shows were. But I completely was flabbergasted to see how the cameras were set up and how they were just moving on their own accord. But that also helped you because you weren't focused on the cameras the whole time. You could just be yourself, and then you would notice them when you hear I'm like, oh, there you are. What's
there you
up?
Are. You following me?
But
yeah.
Outside of that, no, I think that was the biggest experience. Is just like the lights. The lights were very bright, but
I didn't even think of that. That's
I was just shocked being there. Like so many times, like I was just looking around, like I cannot believe I'm in the circle right now. So that was wild. That was wild.
So did you know that you would be coming into the game late and that the game was already starting? Did they let you know that?
So they don't tell you anything. So I was in Atlanta for a minute, just vibing, and you get through you really don't know what happens until they tell you get into the apartment. So I had a feeling possibly like the longer I was waiting to hear things that I could possibly be coming in later, but I definitely had a perspective when I got in and I saw how many people were already in there. I was like, oh damn, okay, I might be last, but maybe there's some more people coming, but I think I'm last.
And do they tell you anything that's going down, or you really just walk in and be like, oh damn, they playing?
You go into your apartment and it's go time. Like you go and you're looking at the apartment, you're going through things, and then you look the circle, and then you get to see who's in the game, and you're just like, okay, so it's Madeline, Jadeja, Darian, Rachel. Okay, cool. And then I was just like, there's so many of them. Why are they not gone? Why is it two? There's and I come in and it's like 8 of us now. I'm like, so I'm either last or I'm the second to last person coming into the game. So I was already just like, okay, I probably got to hit the floor running.
Yeah. So did you really come in right in the wedding party game, or were you there a little bit beforehand to kind of, unpack a little bit?
So I was absolutely brought in the midst of the wedding party.
Oh,
I
wow.
got in there in my apartment. There was this wedding cake. I wanted to get into that immediately because I was starving, but I was like, let's get into the game. Let's get into the game. And I actually went through multiple like things. I didn't know how I wanted to come in, right? But when I had an inkling that I was going to come in last, I knew from watching the shows previously that later players have a hard time getting
Yeah.
their way into the game. So I wanted to do something or do something that's going to be remembered.
Yeah.
And it was a wedding party, and I went through multiple chats of what I wanted to say. And first of all, I did not expect to get a voiceover. That blew my mind. I was like, "Who's talking? I'm talking. Wait, is that me talking? Like what?" And then that just made it even more iconic. From then when I come in, it's like I don't think anyone has ever come in as like, "Oh, forever
No.
hold your peace. I'm here. What's gonna happen?" Like,
Yeah.
and I don't regret that. I think if anything, it shook everyone up and had them remember, "Oh wait, we are playing a game. There's more players in here." And I think it made people to reassess their placement in the game. So, yeah.
Do you think it's how hard is it to come in already when the game is started?
It is the hardest thing ever in the circle to come in like that. Let me tell you. So coming in, like I said before, I was a fan of strategic games. Came in messy as hell. I had to listen.
Yes, you
When you
did.
come in last, right? You have to make very important and decisive decisions quick. Especially me, who knows the game and know how previous. I feel like previous last players really don't get a chance because they're like the easiest option to block because nobody knows you. It's no blood on your hands. Let's just get rid of them. It'll be okay. They'll be all right. So coming in, I knew I had to hit the floor running. But what's funny is I was actually shocked. I was like, hold on. Why are we in a wedding party? Why are we celebrating a wedding? What is this game? And once they told me what it was not just one couple. We're celebrating two couples?
It was a
That is
lot.
four people. That's a four-person alliance. And the
Yes.
fact that everybody else was just celebrating, I was like, oh my God, I'm screwed. I'm screwed. They're here celebrating these four couples like they're not competition. They're not going to gun for you all.
Yeah.
So for me, my thought process was like, this is a four-persons alliance. Everyone is supporting that. That has to get broken up.
Yes.
And in perspective, seeing like my initial thought process, I saw Jadeja and Darren. I was like, wait, my black brothers and sisters are in here. So what I could possibly do is team up with them. That could be a trio right there.
Yes.
And then Madeline was a girl. Tierra was a girl. I could work with her. So that leaves, unfortunately, Heather and Andy gotta go.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that portion of my game was not shown. So, but that was my initial strategy is I did come in and I noticed this. I was like four people, couple, this has to be an alliance. Like, I don't know anything. My only projective is like, they are running the show.
Yeah.
And to come in on a wedding party, celebrating them, to me, that's like they have all the power.
Yeah.
So
But that's kind
that's
of cool that you got to come in on a game like that so you could
Yeah.
kind of see who the alliances are. Because sometimes when people come in, it's really like, what the hell's going on? Like, you got to talk to
Yes.
everybody,
Yeah.
get that tea,
Exactly.
and try to figure
Right.
out
Get the tea.
what
And
the
that's why I
hell
was
is
asking
going
those
on.
questions. I was like, I have to ask questions. I have to figure out what's going on. And for me, like I came from I love reality TV. I love competition shows and strategy. So I'm a strategist. So my thought process is I need to come in running. And which side was weaker, but as things progress, we all kind of formulated each side, and coming in last, I don't have much choice, right? Whoever wants to talk to me, whoever wants to make a bond, I gotta latch onto it, or I can go home. And that was the most stressful part about it because coming in last, you're on survivor mode, right? It's stressful as hell. You don't know what conversation you're gonna have. You don't know when the block is gonna be. And behind my mind, I was just thinking, I can't get blocked. I can't get blocked. I can't get blocked. But I'm probably gonna get blocked. I'm probably gonna get blocked. Like it was just like it was so much to take in, especially in that first day on such a massive event. Like the wedding party is like one of the most like the biggest events that happened in our season, and it's crazy, crazy.
So do you think it's fair that people get to come in as late, or should they change it up in a way where I know you can't get blocked really the first night, but
Right.
that doesn't really save you after that.
No. So I think what I do like is in previous seasons of the circle, later players or the last player comes in really late, like episode 8, episode 9. And this was before they would do like batches of like each week. They used to put the whole show out in one big batch. So I feel like that, like coming in later, you are at a disadvantage. But the glory about coming in later, as I stated before, you get to remind the players in there that this is a game. So with the new player coming in, you get to reassess your whole strategy if you have one. Like, okay, am I cool with the people I'm aligned with? Do I need to take this new person in under my wing? Can I form a relationship with them? Do I want to align with them, or do I want to just write them off? So I think it's part of the game of the social experiment of what the circle is you never know what's going to happen. And these later players do remind the players that are in there that, hey, this is the circle. This is the game. If you're not playing it, you need to think about it.
Yes, of course. Sorry, I think if everyone can comment, if you can comment. I feel like my sub thing is still on, and I don't even know how this is on. Because I don't see any comments, and that's scaring me that it could still be on.
Oh, no. Well, if anyone's in my live, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask.
Yeah, ask Antonio. I'm trying to see if I can fix it in here, but I don't.
If you go, let me see if I don't have a sub. Try your settings and see if.
Gita says she can comment. Okay.
Yeah, go to your settings and go to comment settings and see if it changes anything like that.
Oh, the ghetto, y'all. The ghetto. It doesn't say filter comments. That's only for people want to get locked up in here. I don't think so.
Ask me, Tony, what's your favorite season? My favorite season is season 1.
Yes. Okay. I think because I can see people that it's not a sub only. Because like I said, I don't have no subscribers, y'all, so I don't know why.
I feel like, listen, I haven't done it either. I'm still trying to figure things out. I love season 1. Yeah, season 1 is just so nostalgic. It's just so nostalgic.
It is. It's the best season. So how many days did you get to actually play since you came in later?
So I honestly think I got the longest time. I played the game for what? So what was that? Something 12 days. I played the game for 12 days. So a pretty decent amount of time. I came in on a Sunday, and then it was a full week, and then I think we wrapped on a Wednesday. So 12 or 13 days or so. So it was a decent amount of time, though it felt like months in there.
I know.
Because we shot.
It gotta feel like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm an introvert, so I mean, I love being in there and isolated and things like that because 1, I'm living a dream, like I'm on the circle, like what? I'm playing the game. But 2, I mean, you can't go anywhere, so you're stuck in the room. So so I was in there for about 11, 12 days or so, which for a last player, like I stated before, in the prior seasons, the last player came in like episode 9, 8. They had
it was really the end. It was really the end. It
literally was the end. Like people were like, hi, how are you? Goodbye.
Well, I'm glad they did change that because when you come in that late, you gotta know. Like you're not winning this unless it all goes to hell.
No, and that's literally what it is. Like the thing is, when I really realized I was like the last person. I think it might have been after like maybe the first 2 blockings. I was like, so is there another person coming in? I don't think the person coming in. Yeah. I could be the last person. Let me continue to play as best as I can because if another person does come in, like who knows what they're going to do, who they are, how they're going to shake up the game because there was already so many crazy twists involved. Are they going to like be my friend? If not, it was just a lot. But I think for a last player, they have it the hardest because I feel like you're on go mode every day. You're waking up. We need to chat. We need to talk with somebody. And you don't have much way of like, you can make your own decisions, but you have to be very smart about them. And you have to opportunize every single opportunity you have, every conversation, everything is said. You have to figure out how to make that a way for you to gain your way into the game.
Yeah. So well, it's probably hard too because the players know you trying to latch on or try to get that alliance to make it to the end. But then they also need you to rank them high. So it's kind of like, what are we going to do here in this moment?
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I feel like there are times you feel like people like, are they really your alliance? Are they really your friend? And watching the show, you can see who really were for you or not. But at the end of the day, the ranking is so important because that's how you get power or no power. So trying to figure that out was really, really hard. And I think that what a lot of people don't see or understand for a last player, like an actual last player, you're at a disadvantage, right? Like the chances of you becoming an influencer that first time you're eligible to be ranked or blocked is slim to none.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to figure out if what you established thus far is strong enough. Are you going to be in the later ratings? Are you going to be in the middle? Is there a chance you can be up there? Because per circle history, even though James didn't come in very last, he's the only player who came in later and then won the whole game.
Yes, so, and I was so happy when he did.
yeah, but that's so rare. One person out of the whole 7 seasons did that. So it's like, as a fan, I knew when I realized I was last, I was like, oh God, this is about to be a fight.
This would be me. I'll be looking around the apartment like, for real, y'all? Like, this how you
but I love a challenge. Listen, I've been an underdog my entire life. In all aspects of my life, I've always been the underdog. I've always been counted out. So for me, and as an avid anime player, like anime fan, that's what anime is all about. The main character is the underdog, figuring out how he can fight his way to get to what he needs to do. So I was welcome. Let's do it. I'm gonna fight. Regardless, I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna bring them everything. I'm gonna give y'all everything I got. And if at the end of that I get blocked, at least I know I did what I could to get myself as far as I possibly could.
And look, you made it to the end. You made it to the couch.
So the only person to come in last and make it to the finale. I mean, come on. I mean, though they didn't show a lot of my gameplay because there's so much that happened and so much.
Gita wants to know, how did you get on the show?
So how I got onto the show. So prior to the circle, I actually was on Netflix Squid Games The Challenge. I was number 244. I got casted on that via TikTok. So I'm an animated TikTok creator. I'm a massive nerd. And a producer reached out to me like, hey, we're auditioning for Squid Games The Challenge. You should apply. And I was like, I don't know. But I've been applying to reality TV shows for years before that, like Big Brother, Survivor, all aspects. So I was trying to be cool, but I was like, oh my God. So I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you. So I applied immediately, and that happened. Crazy how that happened in January, and I quit my job to do that, all aspects of that.
Wow.
And I got out in the first round, and I was just so devastated. Like, I thought that was it. After so many years of auditioning for reality TV and being told no or hearing nothing. If you audition for reality TV before, you know a lot of it is just you never hear from them ever again. Like, that's how you know you didn't get it. So I was like,
that's a lot of jobs these days in general. So
they said, I was just down. Like, I was down physically, emotionally. Like, Tierra, like, it was bad. It was bad after that, and I didn't think that I was going to recover. But Tierra was like, "Hey, Antonio, they're auditioning for the circle," and I was like, my haircut is. I didn't have a haircut. I was like, I ain't gonna do it. It is what it is. But right after that, I was like, wait, Studio Lambert also did that. Hold on, should I? Let's just audition and see what happens. So for that, I didn't get reached out to. I did do like the online audition. I did that, did my video in my bathroom, edited it. It was like 2 minutes, boom, sent it. I was like, it is what it is. And I just got a new job. I was driving back and I got a text message from one of the casting producers that says, hey, Antonio, I saw your application. Would love to speak with you. Are you available to talk right now? While she texted me, I'm like going 60 miles an hour, trying to hurry home, like trying to be like, yes, I'm home. I can talk right now. Ran in there. We did a quick phone call, and then I went through multiple rounds of auditions, and we are here now. So yes, it's worked out. I'm so blessed for the opportunity and how it worked out.
Well, that's great. Yeah. So I do want to ask you, when you got in there and Kevin tried to boo you up real quick, now, were you believing it, or were you just like, or I just got to get this alliance, whatever this man is saying, fine, yes.
Yes. So, like I said before, coming in last, you don't have much choices. So I have been asking for conversations and trying to figure out who I can chat with for a while. This was the first conversation that I had. It was Kevin. And I was like, listen, I have to take with what's been given to me. I have a chat. I'm coming in last. I'm already at the disadvantage. I was trying to figure out what the situation was with the couples. So my goal was already to go for like an Andy, because I wanted to work with Jadasia Darian and Madeline, because she was a woman. So Andy was who I was looking for. So when we have our conversation, I was like, Kevin wants to have a chat. But deep down, I'm like, yes, here's my time.
And at that point, you didn't know anything about Kevin, and you know,
I didn't know anything, but I was like, he's gonna be my alliance because I gotta take it. So we start talking though, and start like talking about strategy, and he mentions in like the couples are powerful. I was like, whoop, there it is. The couples are powerful. He also sees that we can tag team, we can figure something out. Let's lock this in as an alliance. And hashtag tag team was born. And honestly, I think that was the best move that I made, because who would have known that Kevin will continuously become influencer the rest of the season? And that alliance is what really helped me because he was in power a lot and he went to that. So though it wasn't initially the alliance that I wanted, I'm glad we had the chat. I'm glad we were able to, align because he protected me a lot of the time throughout the rest of the season.
And I know the game kind of right after that said he was an alliance breaker.
Yes.
And you had just formed that alliance?
So what the hell did I do? Oh my gosh, I'm screwed. What can we do? And he lied to me because apparently he told me he had a boys alliance. He was influencer before. I didn't know none of that. So when we had our next chat, I absolutely got in that. I was like, Kevin, no, what you're not about to do is play me. And then saw our full chat. We had a long chat. We were going back and forth. I was like, you try to play me. This is in the third. Like, I am the one. And when I really had to think about it is, okay, do I want to sever this relationship? This is an alliance that I have. Do I want to sever it? And do I want to just call it quits and start all over? Even though at that time, after Kevin's chat, I did have a sort of alliance with the girls, Madeline and Rachel, but Kevin was like the one that we put a name on it. So that was a real one. Yeah. And he came to me to try and make up. And people mess up. It is a game. I'm thinking he probably was playing a game. Whatever he did was probably best for his game. What is best for Tierra's game right now? And right now, it's probably just to keep this alliance because who knows what can happen. So we rekindle, and that very next blocking, what happens? Kevin is an influencer. So it worked
out.
It never stopped. It never ended. Oh my God.
Ended. How did you feel watching it back, seeing like what went down with Savannah and all that stuff before you got on the show?
When I tell you, I made so many videos of that because I wish I wanted Savannah to walk in there and roundhouse kick Kevin. I was like, you sent Savannah home? It was you?
The first move.
That was so lethal. Like that's probably one of the most like lethal moves ever in the circle. Like that was the one person who would have rolled for Kevin. Rolled for Kevin. But that also speaks volume to the game that the twins played. The fact that they were able, and I wish we could have saw what conversation went down that made him concede to say, okay, we can block Savannah.
Oh, he told me the tea.
Okay.
In the live. He said that they promised to be his boo because he wanted that. He wanted a girl connection, like a relationship in the circle, and they promised that they would give that to him as Gianna, obviously. But then
so, and that speaks volume to the game that the Twins were playing. The Twins was in there. The fact that they can convince Kevin to be like, no, we want you to be gone. And how we're gonna do that? You're gonna send your best player, your best number one alliance home. And that's going to prove your loyalty to us. Like, wow. I was shook. My jaw is probably still on the ground.
They had it.
Like, I was impressed. I was like, okay, yeah, the twins are not here to play. Like, that's crazy. And I commend Savannah and the way that she handled it in that moment. Like, so poised and so was like, I get it. It's a game. But I feel like the fans and everybody wanted her. What's up?
Yeah, we did.
Like, go in. But
because how, like, it's your first influencer chat, too. And your number one ally is...
This is what you choose to block, Kevin? Kayford? Okay, listen. Okay. But then I realized, like, Kevin really was, like a lot of us on the show were very strategic and we're game players and we're really there for the money. And that's one thing I like about our season is, like, every single person was a strategic player. Yeah. And I don't think that there's been a season where, like, everyone is about that. Everyone is trying to figure out what they need to do with the alliances or doing whatever they need to do to get themselves to the end.
Yes. Tati wants to know, do you regret not creating an alliance with Jadeja and Darian?
I tried several times, and I can't say much on it, but what you guys don't see is, like I said before, what I will say is when I came into the game that first night, and I saw everybody on it, I was like, oh my gosh, look at Jadeja and Darian, my black brothers and sisters, they in here. I wanted to work with them, even though they were part of the couple. And they were a powerful couple because I thought those four people were in an alliance. My thought process is if I can become a third wheel to them, because I didn't think I could become a third wheel to Madeline and Andy. If I become their third wheel, they could trust me. Then I would have Madeline secretly as like a girl's thing. Get rid of Andy, that breaks up the alliances. Then I can convince Jadeja and Darian to get rid of Madeline without me doing it because she'll need to target me. And then boom, I'm definitely in that trio with us three. And then we can wrap in two people. Yeah. We're going to carry the game. But that's not how the game went forth. That's not how things were happening. I can't say much on that, but I tried every single day to have conversations with them. and it just wasn't happening. So in that moment, I had to run with what was given to me, or I was going home. Like I said prior, as the last player in the game, you have to make really important, incisive decisions that you may not make in the real world, but in the game. For me, I was there for $100,000. That would have helped me, my mom. I could have had so many things like my student loans paid for, my dreams. That's all I was thinking about is this money and figuring out how I could survive enough to get to the final five to even have a shot at it. Yeah. And as the game progresses, and though I was trying to align with them, it wasn't happening. We sort of just branched off on separate sides. And I had to go with what I had to survive, or I was going home. Yeah. Like, I can't say, no, I'm not working with you. No.
Yeah, you don't have that luxury to do that.
I don't have the luxury to do that, and especially if I'm not like having the conversation with the Jay and Darren. We're not bonding. I don't know what they're thinking. All we have is the circle chats to like get their thought process. In the circle chats, it literally was like, we're divided. Like, that's what it was.
Do you think you came in too hot and Jadeja was kind of like, I don't know about Tierra?
I was worried about Jadeja coming in real hot. I'm sorry, me coming in real hot. I definitely thought that, like, okay, I know this is how I'm coming in, and I don't know how people are going to react to this, but if there's anything that's going to happen, they're going to remember how I came in. Yes. And it's going to be some sort of impression. And impression is either going to make them be like, I didn't like that, or, ooh, okay. And you see, each player reacted differently. Some people respected it, some people were like, cool, and then there were others who were like, I don't fuck with that. Yeah. And I do think that in perspective to Jadeja early on, like, and speaking with her, I think that did hurt our initial like relationship in that game to build. But over time, you know, we were both on the outskirts at one point in time. We did come together eventually, and that was just so good that we were able to do so. But I definitely think initially that could have hurt. That definitely hurt the relationship between Tierra and Jadeja. Because you know, Jadeja said openly multiple times that she didn't mess with that way of me coming into the game. But I had to come in some way, and I could have came in like, hey, this is Tierra, the maid of honor is here. But like,
yeah, that wouldn't have been cool. I liked it. I liked how you came in.
Like, if you're gonna make an impression, if you're gonna come in, and especially with the voiceover, like, what? And then that message was like, who is Tierra? And they all say, who's Tierra?
Who's Tierra? Yeah.
Like, who the hell is Tierra? Like, so though the intention was not to be messy, the intention was not to stir the pot. What the intention was to get a reaction, to get something that you are gonna remember. Like, you guys are gonna remember. If anything you take from Tierra from the show, you're gonna remember how she came into the show. And in the game wise, the players remembered, okay, this is how Tierra comes in. And they even say it, like they said, I think she's gonna be spicy, she's going to be ruthless, cool. And then you have the other perspective of like, she kind of messy, I don't like that. Yeah. But you see how that unfolds in the game.
K-Fern is in the chat and he said, you got a reaction.
I love seeing everybody's reaction. I think, like I said before, you don't see anything. So you send these messages and you don't see people's reaction. Not everyone responds to your message. So you don't know how it's being taken until you watch it. So when I watched it, I was like, okay, definitely what I wanted was to make an impression. It did do it.
You did.
Some people didn't like it. Some people did. But the overall message of it was not to be messy. It was just to be remembered and leave an impression. And I think it did do that.
Yeah. So you were kind of on the Madeline, Rachel side of things when you got into the game. And first you thought you were talking to Madeline, but you was really talking to Rachel at the time. So did you ever think when she brought up the name of like, hey y'all, Darian has said, I think Darian's doing some shady stuff. Did you ever think back to like, well, Madeline did try to get Andy out of here. Can I really believe what she's saying now? Or were you still like, look, this is where I'm at. I gotta kind of play the game this way. Mm-hmm. You ever have second thoughts on that?
So it's a mixture of both. So they don't show. So in that chat, I actually say a lot, and I actually have a couple of messages, but they didn't make the show. So in that initial message, I was on to Madeline. I was like, okay, Madeline, yes, something is off here. Something definitely I'm not feeling, but I've locked in with you. I'm coming in last. You're a part of the other alliance that I do have. Because at this point in time, I had the two alliances, right? No one knew about any of the alliances. So I had hashtag tag team with Kevin. And then I have the alliance with Madeline and Rachel. And initially, however, how that conversation brings up is when it comes to the couples, my perspective once again was to break up the couples. I hadn't had any chats with Jadeja or Darian, though I've been trying. I hadn't had anything, so I have to move on with my game to see what's best for me. So when we're talking in that initial conversation, one of the other chats that I left off is, okay, like who are we targeting next? What we're going to do? And I asked them like, okay, who do you guys want to target? Like, who do you guys want to target? And they bring up Darian, which is a part of the couple. We've already got Andy out. And I'm working with Madeline, which is what I wanted to do as a girl of Tierra. We want to work. So Darian was the only one who was an option because I didn't want to target Jadeja because I had hopes that I could connect with her. I had no conversation with Darian, though I wanted to talk with him multiple times. I can't say much about that. It just wasn't happening. So I had no idea where his head stood. If he were to be an influencer, I am 97% sure I would have been blocked. So in that case, it was sort of like, let me get him before he has a chance to get me.
Yeah.
Player perspective. So in the game was best for me, Rachel and Madeline, they had my allegiance. I had theirs. Though I was onto Madeline, my goal always was to use either Jadeja or Darian to get Madeline out. In this perspective, I kept what I saw to myself. I was like, boom, we're going to note this. Madeline, I see you. We're going to note it. But I've already given my allegiance to these two. Let's proceed with this.
Yeah. So what can't you tell us, Tony?
Well, what I feel like is this, like, so you have chats and you don't always you can't always control how things go. How you have people see the circle and think you have full control of everything that happens.
Yeah.
Everything is like yes, and it's not always like that. And you as the audience member, you don't see all conversations. As you guys see the edit, like you don't see everything that maybe we all said because that's not what makes the edit. So. Outside of that, I feel like for me personally, at that point in time, I was struggling a little bit because I was just so I think at that time of that chat, I did realize that I was last. I was like, okay, I had a day where I was like, I'm last. Like, I'm really in this circle last. I'm really to me, I thought it was over for me. I didn't think I had a chance because in circle history, the last person is just gone. No one cares. They'll lie to them. Yeah, we'll align with you. But at the end of the day, when you have the influencer chat and it comes down to it, it always comes down to that one person who came in last and the influencer just gives in and just says, I don't care. Let's just block them. It's easiest. Less blood on my hands. And I had given up so much to be there and so much to, play this game. And I was living a dream and I wanted to continue to do it. I didn't want to go home that early just based on the fact that I was last. I feel like there's so much more to the game of just picking somebody because they're last, even though that's circle tradition and circle history. So I was going through it. I really was going through it, but you don't see any of that, unfortunately. And there's a scene when Darian does get blocked that I'm crying, and a lot of people were like, why the fuck is she crying? Why the fuck was Antonio? Why was he crying? Why was he crying? I was crying because it was so much for me to be given that chance to proceed in the game. Yeah. For me personally, in my life, I've been prejudged based on what I've looked like, and I've never gotten an opportunity or never been given a chance, just a chance. And though it was bad for Darian, and it sucked that he got blocked, for me personally, for Antonio, it was so emotional for me for K-Fern and Gianna to decide to give me a chance. And I had a real moment in that I literally, when I tell you, when I saw his name, I was like it was breaking down. And then I started just saying thank you so much for giving me this chance. No one has ever just given me a chance to prove that I can be loyal or prove that I can do what it is, or just give me a shot. And in that moment, that is what Kevin and Gianna did for me. And that is why I was crying in that moment. That's why it was so emotional for me at that time. But
well, that's nice hearing your perspective, because obviously as the fans and we're watching the circle as a whole, we're so focused on the lies of how Darian went home based on, some BS. Yeah. So that's that's probably also what the circle wanted us to focus on, because that was a big storyline for the show. Just like Kevin didn't know it was a lie, we didn't know it was a lie. I feel like some people were onto Madeline because some people knew her longer. But for me,
I was onto the fact that she was being very devious. She was being very sneaky. And I was like, okay, these are key points that I'm noticing to Madeline that I do not like. And I'm keep it mentally noted, but anything else in that game, I hadn't seen anything that like made her be a liar because we don't know conversations that other people are having. All you have to go with is what is being presented to you in these chats. Someone could say Barney is an influencer and he's coming for you, and you gotta believe it. You gotta believe it because you can't see it. Like all you have is this chat. This chat is like your Bible in there. What is said in this chat is word. And you have to interpret it the best way you can based on the private chats that you know with people, because the private chats are so important. That's how you bond one-on-one with somebody and learn their personality and you get to know them. And I hadn't had that as extensive with Madeline yet. So
were you surprised that, which I'm still surprised at, that the Madeline getting rid of Andy thing never came out? No one ever figured it out, or even because you knew, Rachel knew, Gianna knew, and I think that's it. And it never kind of leaked.
For me, I watched the show and I didn't know that Madeline had just decided to like, Andy's got to go. Like it came out of nowhere. Like I didn't know that. For me as a gamer in that time, because I wanted to separate the couples, and my first goal was to try to work with Jadasia and Darian, work with Madeline, Andy got to go. It aligned with what I wanted. I wanted Andy out. So I just assumed that they did break up because she found out about the guys, because she said there was a guys alliance that she didn't know about. And she felt at the end of the day, Andy will always be true to the guys. And as a guy, I'm like, yeah, it's facts. like that's what's going to happen. So, okay, cool. I want Andy out. Y'all are saying you want Andy out. Madeline is gone for it. Let's work with her. That still is part of my plan to separate these couples. We get Andy out. I work with Madeline. So that's how I saw it. I didn't know it was just something that she had just decided to gun for until I saw the show. Yeah. So I thought she was just aligned with what I wanted. So that's why we went with it. And then when it comes down to it, it worked. He was rated last and he went home.
Yeah. So it worked. So was it more shocking to you finding out about like Madeline, the thing she did at the reunion, or actually watching it back?
Let me tell you something.
Well, let me go sit up on here.
Reunion needed to be, that final episode of our season needed to be 2 hours long. Okay, there was so much that went down at their reunion. I mean, people were yelling.
Michelle, we needed Michelle to be up in there.
I just what the like the challenge used to do at the end of each season. The shit they didn't show. We need that for our season for that reunion, because I was just sitting there in shock, like. Because Kevin realizes that Madeline had lied to him, but Darian was mad at Kevin. Kevin didn't understand why Darian was mad at him because he thought that he got betrayed. And then here's this, no, I lied. What? And you can see Kevin, and what you guys didn't hear is while they were talking over there, Madeline was over there letting Kevin know what was going on. Like, hey, I lied. And Kevin's like, what do you mean? Like he was going through his own thing of like, whoa, wait, what? And then that was going on. Deb was going on telling the world that they switched profiles, because I was just like, yeah, I had a conversation with Madeline, and Madeline was like, no, you didn't. And I was like, are you lying right now? What do you mean you didn't? She's like, I did not have a conversation with you. I said, yes, you did. No, I didn't. It was me. And I was like, Deb, what do you mean it was you? And then they tell us they switched profiles. So now I'm like, what did I miss?
A lot to take in.
It was so much going on, and and Jadasia, of course, was calling out. It was a great reunion. I was sitting there like, because it was just crazy. But I was shocked. Because then I started thinking like, damn, that's me as a person. Like that's not how I would do it. But I get it. It's a game. But it's just like it was crazy. Like how it all played out, and you literally can see the emotions, like specifically on Kevin, like from what I can see, and maybe I was reinterpreting because I was over there. I kept looking every time Madeline was talking and Jadasia were going back and forth. I was just looking at Kevin because Kevin was like broken by it, and I was just like, wow. And I think people just don't realize just how sometimes things can affect people, and you can realize you can interpret this from Kevin felt that he really formulated a really good bond with Darian in the game. Yeah. And I did feel bad because I was like, I get this is a game, and I came in later and I was just trying to do what I thought was best for my game. But you do feel some type of guilt when all that came out. Like I did feel some type of guilt because I did play a role And, I rated Darian last because I had no relationship with him in the game there. Though I tried, at the end of the day, we never talked. So I was like survival. I have to get him before he gets me because I know if he is influencer, I'm going home.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hard to be in that moment because so much emotions were going on, and they showed some of it, but it was really intense. But then watching it and seeing it again was just like.
So besides that, with her, what surprised you the most watching the show back?
How good the twins were. Like how good. Like I deem myself, and I wish they would have showed it all. But I'm a strategist. Like I watched Survivor, I watched The Challenge, I watched Big Brother. I went in there like, boom, this is my game plan. I gave you all GGG. I had it laid out. But the fact that they went in there, right? And how they went from getting blocked last to then immediately becoming the influencer and getting out the very person who was responsible for them getting blocked is like, that's y'all.
I will say I feel like the producers had a little
I will say what I will say is that power, that little disruptive power, because I had no idea what the hell that was. When they said disrupt, I was like, I'm really hard myself. I cuss a lot and I love the F word. I was in there like, what the butt? And they were like, you get 2 F's a day. And at this point, you get 2 F's a day, Antonio, because you can't. But when I first see that disruptive part, I'm like, what the is disruptor mode? And then I said again, what the hell is disruptor mode? Because that disruptor mode really, really, really changed and made your game depending on how it helped you. And for them getting that power, it helped them in a big way. It allowed them to change the whole game.
Yeah. Because the game would have been obviously completely different if they would have been home that night. Yeah.
They would have went home and Madeline and Garrett would have came in the next day, and then who knows who could have been an influencer. It could have been Kevin the whole time. It could have been Jadeja. It could have been anybody. Honestly, if you remove Gianna from the game, so many people were tethered to Gianna. I actually had an alliance with Jadeja. They didn't show it. The very first time I opened up about my life.
Yeah, I remember that.
Conversation with Gianna. But it didn't make the edit. So I was aligned with Gianna. Kevin was aligned with Gianna. So many people were aligned with Gianna to the point that if you remove Gianna from the game, it literally opens up routes for all players to get to the finale to win it. So seeing it and seeing how that was the most surprising to me. Like they fed off each other like it was golden. But their actually strategy and how they played the game was also good because you're watching it and it doesn't look like it's like hardcore strategy, but you watch it play out and it's like, them boys. Them boys.
Were you surprised that they were a catfish, or did you kind of have a feeling?
I was shocked. If you can see the my foot is in the air on my red, but I'm like, I left it there. I was like, wait.
Well, not only just a catfish, clearly they were two identical twins.
Twins, right? And they walk out so casually. They were just like, yeah, what's up? What you mean? Yeah, what's up? Where is Gianna? Like I was just like, what?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I had just a small, it was like maybe 2% that I'm thinking that she was possibly a catfish, but I didn't think it was a man. I thought maybe it was like her friend or her mom or her auntie. But the fact that those two kind of played their catfish like I did, I completely embodied Tierra. Her adorisms, all aspects of Tierra, I embodied it. I became Tierra. They also became Gianna. And they did it. They did it. Kudos. Like they're deserving. They did an incredible job.
Yeah.
Incredible job.
Now, I know being a catfish was a personal choice for you. Do you regret that being a catfish now, or would you still play it the same way?
So for me, the reason why I went into the catfish is 2 reasons. For me, my whole life I battled like personal insecurities and self-hate and all aspects of that, of how I look like and my size. And it stems from like my childhood. My brothers are light skinned. They were always in shape. And I've always been part of the arts. So I do music, I do acting, all aspects. So I've done the arts. And I don't see anyone who growing up who looked like me, who was me. And I feel like the media and entertainment and also like fans of that have crafted what a male beauty standard is supposed to be and what's supposed to look like, what you're supposed to look like as a male to be on TV. And that has always been the thing that's held me back or made me apprehensive to do anything. So I didn't want to bring in any of those insecurities of me seeing my face compared to these supermodels, because when I got into the circle, the first thing I say, and I see these profiles, I'm like, oh my God, they're all fucking supermodels. Like, what is, like, why are they all gorgeous? Like, I was like, why am I here? Like, it hit me again. And I went into my place a little bit, but had I had my face up there, the insecurities could have taken place, and I either one could have got lost in that, would not played the game full out, and it would have held me back. And the second reason why I played as a catfish is Tierra is also a massive fan of the show. And when she had Egypt, her daughter, she felt as if she would never be able to live out her dreams to compete on the circle. And I was like, well, this is a perfect opportunity to catfish. And why not catfish as Tierra? I know her so well. I can use her as my mask to just be unhinged, do every aspect of it. She has a pretty smile. No one's going to question it. And it just worked out that way. So I don't regret going in as a catfish, because in doing so, another thing they don't show is when I'm talking to Tierra, I literally grew to love myself in that circle. And the mask that I was wearing for myself day by day, it just broke and peeled. And I realized that I'm worthy, I'm deserving, and I need to go for anything I want to go through. And if I don't fit in a mold that's put there, set your own fucking mold and go for it. And I don't, that's why I don't grade it, because in that, the Antonio today is completely different from the Antonio then. And I'm so blessed for that opportunity and how that played out.
Well, look, you are beautiful inside and out, and I do want you to play yourself, but I definitely understand how you feel, and I definitely get that. You know, a lot of people from looking at me don't know, but I am Black. Okay. So I get a lot of, okay. So I definitely feel that, and I don't feel secure in how I look or really anything. And it's been a slow process for me to, you know, just love myself for who I am. So I definitely get that, but you are it, honey. So
I appreciate it. Thank you. It took me so long, but if I like I tell you before, if I do anything or get the opportunity to do anything else in the future, you're getting full blown Antonio. It's 100% me, hands down. So
and my motto always, it might be because the New Yorker in me, but now I just feel like if you don't like me, it's cool.
Right, we good.
But I would always rather someone not like me for me. Than being someone or trying to, you know, be something for them and them liking me. I'm always going to be me no matter what. And I had to learn that as I got older too. Like, who am I pretending for? You know what I mean? Like,
you found yourself just naturally pretending to be something you're not, or trying to fit or make them feel comfortable to like you. And we shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to be yourself 100%. And if they don't like that, if they don't fuck with it, okay, bye, deuces. I'm good. I'm going to be me.
Look, 100%. I love Harry Potter, y'all, and I'm not afraid.
Let's go, me too. Let's go, Gryffindor in the house, okay?
I love it, okay?
Absolutely, Harry Potter's life, absolutely. Yes. And that's the other thing. I'm a nerd. Listen, I'm the biggest anime, all types of nerd here. This my whole account was anime before the circle, and you know, growing up, anime, nerdy, so what you were outcasted for it. It's not as popular and as prominent as it is now. So I will always advocate for the weirdos and those who feel that they don't fit in. All you have to do is just be yourself. And like I said before, if you don't feel like there's a mold there for you, formulate that own mold, and those who rock with you will follow you. And that's how I'm running it.
Nerds, we love you.
Let's go.
Shout out to the weirdos. So I'm kind of mad now that we didn't see so much of your gameplay and that they edited it out, because we want to see that. Netflix, what's up? Like, we want to see our boy.
I think so. This is my perspective, right? At the end of the day, there was like, there's a storyline, you know, that was there. Like, I came in late. I did come in late. So I feel like when you, I think that's the hardest thing that people realize is when other players do come in late and there's already gameplay set forth, it's hard to continually show the story. At the end of the day, it is a TV show, right? It's a reality TV show. There's still a story to be told based on what is going on in the game. And there was a lot of drama that was happening on our season when I came in, right? Savannah just gone home. Kevin was on the outs. Everyone was gunning for Kevin. Like, that was the main thing that was going on. So though I was trying to find myself to get in there, I was making my own strategic moves. And that's why it was so important when Madeline was like, Tierra, you have no thought in your mind. What was your strategy? And I was like, hold on. everything I've been doing has been my own decisions. I decided to go ahead and align with these people. I decided to go ahead and get these people out because that was best for my game in these moments. And I would have loved to see all of that. I had chats with Garrett. I had chats with Gianna, multiple chats with Gianna that weren't shown, that was all about strategy and talking about how we want to align. I had alliances with Garrett. I had alliance with Gianna. I had alliance with Rachel and Madeline and Kevin. So watching it back, to some people was like, oh, he just made it to the finale because they knew he would be an easy vote, like to beat. Yeah. And for me, I felt based on the game that I played, it's because I did show people that one, I'm loyal. I rock with you. I'm going to protect you. If I ever get the opportunity to become an influencer, I got you. And they understood that. The conversation that me and Gianna had was so emotional. The first one we had, where I tell my story about my life, was so emotional. And I think in that one conversation, Gianna knew that one, okay, Tierra is real. She's authentic, and we can trust her.
Yes.
And I told Gianna, I got you. Rachel, same thing in that three-way chat. Madeline, she knew she had us. And then Kevin, me and Kevin we were talking back and forth. That was my strongest alliance with Kevin, #tag team. So I would have loved to see more of that. You know, it is what it is. A lot of people always message me. I wish we would have came in earlier. I do too. But that's the cards I was given. And what I'm always going to do is formulate my own path with what I'm given and find a way to make my way to the end. Even if I'm going by my elbows, my chin, however I got to get there, I'm going to get there. And I mean, I'm blessed for the opportunity because so many people auditioned for this show. So many people were probably seen into the finale. And the fact that they decided to go and pick me to come in, and based on my personality. And with Tierra, it's the same thing. A lot of my friends are like, Antonio, you're definitely giving main character energy. And I'm like, I know. But at the end of the day, our whole cast, our personalities are incredible. So when you have 12, 13 of these incredible personalities, you have to figure out how to have them all fit in timing. And unfortunately for me, my timing was to come in last, but I still believe even though I came in last, I made an impression, and my gameplay speaks for itself to the fact that I believe I made it to the finale on, my game.
Strategy wise, because I know you do like the strategy of the game. When Madeline had the last blocking and she decided to block Jadeja, do you think that was a good move? Because honestly, if she had it, maybe you could have gotten a higher ranking if she would have got out either a Kevin or Gianna. It could have changed the game altogether.
That move is what lost Madeline the game. Yeah. And this is why I say that. So, as you know, me, Jadeja, and Madeline, I called us #Circles Angels. We made that plan where we're going to try and flip the game on Gianna and Kevin, where we're going to rate them low and hopefully we'll higher and hopefully get the position. In that, I believe Madeline was down ho for the talent show. I thought she was going to go ahead. I thought she was down for it. Jadeja, I knew was down for it because Jadeja mentioned in the chat, she wants Gianna out. So I knew if Jadeja won the influencer, she was going for Gianna. I was going for Gianna, and I figured Madeline would also be going for Gianna. So when she decided to get rid of Jadeja, that made me like, oh, so you broke our deal. I knew the moment the screen came on and Jadeja was blocked out, I knew Madeline was a secret influence.
Oh, really?
I knew it was her because the reason why I knew it was her is I just had a feeling. It was a feeling deep down. And that day I definitely took a moment because I was like, I would have loved to have both Tierra and Jadeja in that finale. That would have been a great statement to make overall for reality TV, for the circle itself, all perspective here. And me and Jadeja have made we made up and we had bonded, and I had her back in that moment from our conversation because me and Jadeja had very similar stories. And we had a very long conversation in our chat. Not the full conversation wasn't aired, but we talked about all aspects of like foster care and abuse. And it was really incredible. So I was writing for her and I was going to put her first. I put her first in that rating. I put Jadeja first. I put Madeline third. And I put my number one alliance, Kevin, third.
Everyone's number one.
Yes, my number one. I put Jadeja and I put Gianna last. Because if I would have gotten that secret influencer, absolutely would have blocked Gianna. Yeah. Jadeja would have blocked Gianna, and I thought Madeline would have blocked Gianna. But now that she blocks Jadeja, she then loses somebody who probably would have rated her higher, and she lost me. because I no longer am going to rate you higher because now I know you can't be trusted because you just betrayed what I thought was real. So that move lost her the game. She honestly should have voted. I mean, she should have blocked Gianna.
Yeah, especially to do all that throughout the game, and then you have it at your fingertips. The last blocking.
You have Kevin, you have Rachel, you have Tierra, and you have Jadeja. Those are 4 people who, in the game, for what you were giving us, we're going to rock with you right there, who could have rated you higher. And the fact that she got 3rd, that tells it all right there.
Yeah. Because I was worried when they started. I was like,
I tell Kevin, I get in Kevin's ass. I was like, Kevin. So I watched the show, right? And I saw that Kevin put me last. And I was like, Kevin, do you know if you would have put me first and put Gianna last, you probably would have won.
I feel like it's always hard at that point when you have to rate. And I feel like with the first season, I don't know if it was season 1, but they were a little bit more strategic. Like, no matter how people felt about you, at that last rating, it was about, how am I going to win? Like, forget all that.
Yes. That's how Joey won.
Yeah.
And that's how Joey won. And that's the thing. That was also just those last final days. This is the thing. We still didn't know if there was going to be a final 5, if it was going to be a final 4, or a final 3, because it was never said, you guys are the finale. Like, we went like a whole day where it was like, finale, you guys are the finalists. Like, we didn't know. So I was like, oh my God, someone else is coming in. Someone else is coming in. Someone else is coming in. Or like, it's the final 3. It's the final 3. So when I finally realized, okay, I'm in the finale, one, I go into the bathroom and I go, just go crazy, like, whoop, I'm mad they didn't show that either. I was going in. But that's the hardest part about the game is that final ratings, because it's one, do you vote strategically, rate strategically, or do you rate with your heart?
Exactly.
With your friendships, but I've known you longer, and I was like, I was like, please, y'all, do not rate with your heart. Do you want to give the money to Gianna or Kevin? Is that what we want to do? In that little at-risk chat with Garrett, when he brought that up, I was so happy because I was like, I did not leave my daughter, even though I don't have a daughter, to give away $100. Like, I was going in. I was like, you're right. Like, we have to think strategic at this point in time.
Yeah.
And that's why, for me, strategically, I did put Kevin first, because if I didn't win, I felt good with Kevin winning, because one, even though he was influencer multiple times, I felt like his journey was a lot harder than Gianna, because Kevin was taking bullets every day in that circle chat. He was getting berated. He got exposed, yet he continuously got influencer, which speaks volumes to either his game, Mac game, or like his gameplay.
Because he really thought
with the word. Yeah, because it's crazy.
It just shows the isolation, because everyone really thought it was a strategic move to make Kevin first, when all it did was really just make him first.
So it was just like, and I know, and I was putting Kevin first because that was like I said before, that was my number 1 alliance, #tag team. So I trusted Kevin, even though, we talked about it, I got into him a little bit, but we were cool, and I trusted him again. So I felt comfortable putting him first because, one, I respected the game that he played. He was my number 1 alliance. If anyone else could win, I was putting him first. And then second, I put Rachel. I put Rachel second, because at that point I was mad at Madeline for what she did, and I knew she couldn't be trusted. So like, no, I ain't putting you second. I put her third, and I put Gianna strategically 4 in hopes that everybody would put her 4. But that also speaks volumes to Gianna's game, because at the end of the day, people forget the circle is a social game.
It is, yeah.
Though there's not really competitions, but it's all about your social game. And Gianna was liked and trusted so much. They all put her 1.
People forget that those last ratings too, your alliances only are supposed to take you to that point. Then after that, it's like, let's go.
That's it. And that was that's where I was contemplating, because I was like, maybe I should put Rachel first, right? Because Kevin has continuously become influencer. So if I want to think 100% strategy, I should put Kevin second. Let me put Rachel first. But I just didn't feel comfortable putting Rachel first, because I don't know. I was like, love you, but I'm not going to do that. And I feel like from a perspective, I guess at the end of the day, I did kind of put my heart in it with Kevin, because I just felt like, I've been rocking with you, I'm going to do that. And I feel like a lot of people probably did the same thing with Gianna. So if you think about it, I think we all sort of fought with our heart in one perspective. But for me, the only heart vote for me was Kevin. Everything else was strategy. Madeline had played us. I was like, no, I'm putting you third. Rachel, I'm gonna put you second by default, which means Gianna, hopefully putting you fourth is gonna hurt you. But as you see, it didn't, because she took the whole thing.
The whole damn thing. If y'all have any questions for Antonio, please put them in the comments, because we are gonna go soon so we can get some nighty night. So if you have any questions, please put them in. So now that you've been on the circle, and I know you said you tried out for other reality shows, and with this platform now, where do you see yourself going forward from here?
So for me, I've always seen myself like, so I'm because I'm an artist, so I like writing perspective, and eventually I would love to own my own digital company where I can write my own content, then animate it, and then put it out by itself as well. But in the meantime, like, I love social media. I'm a content creator here on TikTok for anime, and on Instagram where I do like cooking stuff and sketches like that. So I would love to do that full time and leave this 9 to 5 from home. But but I would love, like, the opportunity comes for other reality TV within Netflix. I would love to do that, or outside of Netflix, I would love to do that. I'm a massive Big Brother fan, The Traitors fan. Would love to show just the fans who are with me more of that full blown like strategy side, or in a competition show, and see just me, Antonio, in that world and thrive. So if the opportunities do come, which I really hope she will, I would definitely jump at it, and I would do like anything that would come outside of, I don't think, say Too Hot to Handle, I'm good, or like Perfect Match, no, that's not for me. Not, or Love is Blind, not good.
I think you would be good. I think you would be good on Traitors, and that's like my new. I've been telling everybody about this. That's my new thing I'm addicted
Traitors
to.
is so, and now that they won the Emmy, like, we know this show is legit. Like, this show is good.
It's so good.
And that second season, like, who would have thought you put a bunch of like housewives, a bachelor in there, and they would be like that? Like,
Major killed it.
That's what I love about it, because they had some players in there. Like, they had CT, like the challenge legend. Johnny Goes Home First was like,
yeah,
what? Johnny? Who peeped that? But then again, Johnny has never played with Survivor players, and them Survivor players that was in there with Parvati and Dan Geesley from Big, like, they picked a great bunch for season 2.
But where they messed up was thinking that Phaedra, they never saw Phaedra read anyone. They thought that they could just.
They thought, even when Dan called her out, they were like, we got you, girl. It's okay. Though Trishelle, she peeped it. And that's why I think that they should have murdered Trishelle early on. Because had she murdered Trishelle, I think Phaedra would have been cool, and she would have made it to the end.
She would have made it if what's his name, Dan, if he hadn't exposed her in that
moment. In that big moment. But the thing about that moment is, even in that moment, all her housewives were like, oh, the only person who peeped it was Trishelle. And she was like, why would Dan make this big thing and target Phaedra? And I'm like, yes, listen, you guys. And they were like, no, it's not.
No, it's just a coincidence.
It's just a coincidence. No. And Trishelle was like,
it's
no,
a game show. And, you know.
And what I love about the Traitors is you can see people who can compete, but that round table is built different.
Yeah.
Round table has made some of the greatest moments of last year's reality was from that round table, and them reads by Phaedra, and it was. I love the Traitors. I cannot wait for season 3.
Yeah, me too. Where is it, y'all? Where is it?
Right. Well, they announced the cast on Instagram, but it's like, when is it airing? Like, is it this year, next year? And it's an interesting cast. They have more I think they have like some WWE divas in there. Oh. They have like some real good reality stars. So I would love if I ever
would bring back normal people. Like the UK has regular people on, and I think that makes it so good.
It does. So I think for season 4, like, they should have, like, I like the mix. Season 1 was a good mix of like normal people and then like reality stars. Yeah. I think they should do that again. And if I get an opportunity to get on there, just make sure y'all cast New York. I would love to play with New York. I think New York would be incredible on the Traitors.
New York would be a good. And she would be. I don't know if she would be a good traitor, because I don't think she would give her. She would give herself away.
Yeah, I think everyone would think she's a traitor, but she's not. Yeah. So and that alone would drive her crazy. But she'd be like, "Bitch, I ain't no traitor." Like, that alone would be just good TV. Like, I am not a fucking traitor. Like,
and then if she was a traitor, she would be in everyone's business. Obviously being a traitor.
Yeah. So I would, and if I go, I would love to be a traitor. I think I would be great at being a traitor. But if I am there to be a faithful, I'll be the greatest faithful ever. Listen, I just think the show, like the Traitors itself, is the perfect amount of like strategy, social, and backstabbing. that
Yes, it's
like
everything.
perfectly crowded, and I love that. I really do love that.
So do you think for the circle, because I've spoken about this with the other members of just like in the beginning, it was very like, it was basically a popularity contest. It's a very social experience. And now it's more strategic. It's more things going on. Do you like where it's going, or do you think it needs to pull some things from the first seasons back into the show?
So what I loved about the early on seasons is that people bared themselves more. How you made connection in alliances is by having true and genuine connections with whoever you were talking with.
Yeah.
And essentially that was part of my game plan as well. It's because I have been through so much in my life. I can relate to so many aspects of things. So I wanted to go in there and share all aspects of me in hopes that someone could connect with that and we can build that relationship. And that's one of the things that I did with I felt from Jadeja. Like we had that moment that I was like, that was great. And then me and Gianna had that moment. And I think that those moments there are so important. Like the moment between Jadeja and Garrett, like who would have thought that Garrett would know that Jadeja went through that? And when he realizes it, it's just, it overtakes him to the point that only emotion can come out. It's moments like that that made the circle so good, because it was literally like 80% of the circle was that. And as we said before, it wasn't until the alliances got themselves to the final five that strategy started to take place.
Exactly,
But where I think the game is changing is I think the casting now, everyone who's casted are huge strategy show fans. Like if you look, they all watch Survivor, The Challenge, The Traders, all aspects of that. And the change in that, I think it makes the game more unexpected. Because with the older seasons, you knew what was going to happen. The alliances rode for each other. You know if they were going to be influencer, who they were going to block. Instead, when new came in, they were blocked. So we kind of had a perspective of what was going on, but we love the new twist and we love new cast members. I feel like now, especially with like season 5 and 6, especially QT, I think what QT did for the game is completely changing. Like she absolutely was one of the most strategic players to have ever played the game. And how she came in, I think it sort of cemented a change in the game that kind of, we didn't know QT was in the game at season 7, but it kind of just played out to the fact that season 7 then sort of the whole aspect was like strategy and backstab, but there were some emotional moments. And I think that change is good. However, I would have loved some more like raw and independent moments as well, because that's what made the circle so great. So I wouldn't say that it necessarily is like hurting it for me. I do miss it, but I think for our season, what I liked about it is that everyone was there to game. Like everyone was fighting for that $100,000. And I think that in the past seasons, people forgot, oh, wait, I can win money out of this. Do I want the money or do I want friendship? But with this new way, you can get both. You can get friendship. Look at Jadeja and Darian. Look at Jadeja and Garrett. Look at, like, I feel like our cast, we are a family. We all have a relationship with them. I love them all. I would ride her. If anybody called me today and was like, Antonio, I need you to come here right now, I would go, because of what we experienced. We are bonded through this moment. And regardless of the game that happened in the moment, everybody from my cast, they are all genuine people. They have their own perspective. They are incredible. They are strong. They have gone through some shit. And I admire each and every one of them. And I think that is also a good thing that comes out of something like the circle, because it's the bonding after the game that really solidifies like a cast. And I love that perspective of it.
I do think alliances in the past were formed more on a connection. Whereas, like, that's what I said to Kevin with Savannah. They really didn't have a connection. They just kind of were like, you cute, I'm cute, let's be
Yes. No, I agree. And I think and that's what's crazy about the circle is there's no competitions, right? So you can't be like, I want to align with a competitor. What the hell are we competing for? Ain't no competition. Like, okay, just because he looks like he can bench press this house, what is that going to do for this game? There's no competition. So it was all based on a social aspect. And when you only have a screen and chatting, the only way to get to know somebody is to break down your walls and talk about you and what you've been through and relate in that. And I love those moments that we did get of that on our season. I would have loved a lot more of that. And I get it. I hear it too. A lot of fans are saying, like, for our season, I love the strategy. It was good. And the backstabbing and all that. But I just wish we could have had more raw and emotional moments. And I get that. I 100% get that. That's what made the circle so good initially. And casting wise as well. Like it was no, like I wish we could have more people who were like older. Like Kevin was the youngest. I'm one of the oldest on the shows. So it's like I would have loved, like in the older seasons, I feel like we had like a good age range of people.
Yeah, it was definitely more diverse in age and everything than it was this season. I agree.
I would have loved that. I would have loved that more. But overall, like I feel like the season, like fans really liked it. And it was really good because I think the aspect of how everyone played particularly, and though it's drama, I think the drama and how things happened was just like, what? There were so many firsts. There were so many firsts this season, and I think that that's what's going to cement season 7. And like this whole legacy of the circle is just like those firsts and the things that happened. But also there was also some really good raw moments as well. Though no, fans would have liked a little bit more of that.
Can we get the Spice Girls back or something, y'all? I really love that.
Spice Girls. Oh, I love that season. What was that?
That's the AI profiles.
Yeah. So the thing about the AI, I wished the AI would have stayed longer.
Yes.
They took it out too quick because I don't think they should have told them there was an AI. I think they should have let them just continue to play, and maybe later down the road before the final blocking, then told them, hey, you guys, Max is an AI. Like, I think that could have been really cool to see how that played out. But
yeah, I definitely think like the Disruptor was cool, but I feel like they had more like elements of that. Like when you got to go in that, whatever that secret room was, when you were like, you could do secret stuff and nobody knew about it. Like, I do miss those crazy games.
I do miss that as well. And one thing I would say is, because I don't know if they're going to do a season 8, but I think if they do a season 8, what would be dope is have it be the Twist fan interactive, where the fans get to pick the influencers. The fans get to give people like maybe secret powers or like decide things. I think that would be really, really dope if there is a season 8 out there. But I would have liked a little bit more, like outside of the Disruptor. It would have been dope to have something else to like really, really do as well. Like that would have been cool, and I get that. And I think Darian got a really cool Disruptor power. The fact that he got to pick an influencer, like that was a good thing. I don't think anyone got like a negative sort of, except I guess Madeline and Rachel.
Yeah, Madeline and Rachel felt like it was negative, but they played it really well. It could have been a negative, but they did a good job.
It could have been so bad for Deb if the right questions were asked. If I was in that chat with Andy and I was in there with an OnlyFans model, I would have been asking all types of questions. And I think that's really if had the right questions been asked to Deb, she would have been like, like that would have went down for her, but it worked out in her favor. So
they were smart to work together, whereas sometimes they didn't do that because people have switched profiles before, but the fact that they laid everything out, had a plan, and that's what that part of it. Yeah.
I agree. I think we're also at that point in time, Rachel was kind of almost about to get got because people were like not liking how she like flipped. And when she flipped, that's when people knew she was a catfish. Even though I think the game has changed, where in the past, people were gunning for the catfishes. I feel like from seasons like 4 and on, people are like, I don't care they're a catfish because they're going to rate me first. So I'm cool with that. You can be a catfish. But I think
nobody cares anymore about.
Yeah, no one really cares.
At the end of the day, they still rate.
Right. They're still going to rate you. Like, why would you get rid of someone who will rate you number 1 just because they're a catfish? Nah, I'll keep you. And I think that for Deb, it worked out because she was in hot water, but her gameplay, well, actually Madeline playing as Rachel really helped her, but also Rachel playing as Madeline really helped Madeline solidify some things there. So it worked out in the favor. And that's probably one of my favorite twists of the season. That and yeah, I think that was really that, and Deb exposing Kevin for not being a lifeguard when she asked him, "What's the number 1 sign of drowning?" and you don't know.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I was in there like, okay, you're definitely fake. You're fake. Like, no, there's no way you get out of that. But seeing their conversation that they had about it was really cool to see, like how they talked about that and things like that. So.
Well, Thank you so much, Tony, for coming onto my live and answering my questions. I appreciate it. Yes. And thank y'all all for coming to my live. And you literally...
No, we came out. What's up? We came to you. So this was great.
Now you gotta go home now.
I loved your coverage all season. I was watching, and I love how you weren't like specifically like biased. You gave your opinions on everybody, on the whole game, and that is what I love about, that's what I like to do about all aspects of things like that. But thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yes, thank you, and thank you everyone. Thank you, Tony, and we will see you again, hopefully on Traders.
Let's go. Well, like I said, we put it manifestation, okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much. You have a good night. Thank you for having me. Bye, everybody.
Thank you everyone for coming to my live tonight with Antonio. And if you didn't know, on my page I have interviewed Jadeja, Darian, Kevin, Deb. So all those videos are up, and also the full interviews are up on my YouTube page. Same name, Gen TV Queen. So thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate the love, the follows, the likes. Thank you. Oh yes, Garrett, if you're watching this, I would love to have you. Madeline girl, you still running from me, girl. Come on. It's going to be fun. I won't get too crazy, so come on in. So thank y'all so much. I really appreciate the love, and have a good night.